I gotta go make dinner.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody. This is Conspiracy Happy Hour.
Woo!
Ooh, spooky.
I hope everyone brought their favorite beverage with them today.
Oh, I did. I don't know. It's the first time I'm having it. It's not the greatest.
What are you drinking today, Allison?
This is a Vizzy watermelon and kiwi seltzer. I think it's the kiwi that's throwing me off, though, because I have the watermelon passion fruit one, and that's pretty good. I think it's the kiwi.
I'm drinking a Sam Adams Cold Snap.
Oh, I love Sam Adams.
Me too. The Cold Snap is good.
Don't mind me. I feel like I sound like I'm in a cloud right now. I have such bad allergies. I can't breathe out of my nose. So.
Allergies are a conspiracy.
Are they?
No, I have them too. I
wouldn't doubt it. There's a conspiracy surrounding allergies.
Yeah, I always think there is someone trying to sabotage my sinuses. So.
Yeah.
But today, actually, I'm actually fine.
No, I just sound like shit. So I sound the same way last night. I was recording my own podcast, and I was like, "Don't hate me. I sound horrible."
Oh, you have a new episode of Tell Me I'm Not Crazy?
It's coming out soon. It was just recorded last night, so
Woo!
I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a long one, let me tell you.
Do you want to give the? I don't know when this is coming. I was going to say, do you want to give the listeners a?
Well, it will be getting released on...
A hint of what your topic is what I was trying to say.
Oh, no, they're not getting a hint.
Okay.
Y'all are going to be surprised. But it will be released the first Monday of April, so whenever that is. I'm not really sure.
Coming up.
It's coming up,
Yeah.
duh, but it'll be fun one.
I can't believe it's April already.
God.
But that just means one step closer to the beach.
Oh my God, I can't wait. But like the thing too is like, I've been able to go outside without a jacket on. I fucking love that.
I know.
It's like one more step when you're getting ready to go outside. And you have to throw a jacket on or your shoes. I like the summer because I literally can slide my feet into a pair of flip-flops and then leave the house. Like nothing else is necessary.
Yeah, I do not like the winter. And I feel like we've been teased with the recent weather we've been having when it's been 80 degrees.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll take that tease over it like snowing.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Dan, I thought we would start this specific podcast off. Well, this one and moving forward, but we'll start it off with like a Mandela effect fact of the day.
All right, hit me.
Do we like that?
I do. I'm ready.
Okay. Let me pull the shit up. I got shit everywhere on my iPad. I did a lot of research, so I'm like, I'm sorry. But I feel like the first topic that we should cover as far as our Mandela effect would be how the Mandela effects started. So the first one we are going to cover is Nelson Mandela's death. So the name for these conspiracies, these little short storied conspiracies all came from Nelson Mandela. So the theory is that he died in 2013. However, countless people, and I'm quoting, this is off of goodhousekeeping.com. I just want to point that out.
You mean you didn't write this yourself?
I did not. I look, I wrote my whole conspiracy. This is side bits. So it says, let's start with the reason we're all here. Nelson Mandela, who this theory is named after, died in 2003, which I probably sound really uncultured. I thought he was still alive. I didn't realize he was dead. But anyway.
I don't think I realized he was dead either. I thought that was the whole joke of it.
I know. That's what I thought. I guess not. I guess we're wrong on multiple accounts here. But anyway, however, countless people distinctly remember him dying, obviously not me, distinctly remember him dying in prison in 1980. But his death isn't only an example of the Mandela effect. We've been wrong about so many dates, deaths, and more. Okay. Ending there. It's just telling me to keep swiping for more. And I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, it's not working.
You only get one today. Sorry, people. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but we want to have that as a little fun way to start our podcast, a different Mandela effect. Yeah.
No, I think there are like some that are extremely common that everybody is just like, I've heard this one before. I get it. I know. But I know that there's some that I'll hear about and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that's how I remember spelling it, or that's how I remember seeing the logo, or just, I think it could have to do with like a glitch in the universe, time travel bullshit. I don't know. But when you specifically, and not just you, when everybody specifically remembers seeing a phrase or a logo or a word look one way, and you find out it never looked that way at all, it's like something's a little off.
Yeah.
So, shall we get into our conspiracies?
We are. Who should go first?
I don't know. Let's play rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh.
Both scissors.
Both scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Both
Both
rocks.
rocks.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ha! Paper covers
Okay.
rock, bitch. Me first.
Fine.
I'm just starting a trend. I'll always go first from now on. So, now I know that we don't talk about our conspiracies until just now.
Yeah, we
but
want to keep them
know,
a surprise from each other.
I want to, well, let me first give my sources. So I have used hitc.com, Snopes.com, SNOPES, Snopes.com, Distractify.com, and the SmithsonianMag.com.
Before you start,
Okay.
can I tell you a funny story that happened to me today that was almost kind of not Mandela effect, but it's more just my memory's really
Like
bad.
a deja vu type of situation?
It was just like, you do something and then you forget about it and then it pops up later.
Triggers you later. Yeah.
Well, I saw a TikTok.
Oh, it all starts with a TikTok.
I saw a TikTok where it was this one person I follow and he's like, I wish I knew this stuff when I was 30. And he goes into something.
Okay.
So this was like, I wish I knew this when I was 30. You can request your FBI file.
Like if you committed a crime?
Yeah.
Or like your background check?
Like the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
You can send a request to the FBI for your file. And
Only your own personal? Yeah. Okay.
Well, you can request other stuff because you can request.
Like what if you want to do a background check on somebody?
Well, it's not.
sketchy?
It's not technically a background check. It's more
FBI files pretty much the same thing.
But I filled out the form on the Freedom of Information.
No, you didn't. You requested your own file.
I requested my own file. Cut to me forgetting, going to my mailbox today, pulling out a letter from the Bureau of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and I'm just like, my heart sank. I was like, why do I have a letter from the FBI?
Oh my god!
And then I go to my car and I open it, and I look. I was like, oh, this is my response to my Freedom of Information Act request.
That's so funny.
I regret to inform everyone that I unfortunately do not have a file. And that's what the letter said.
It's just one page.
It was
one page just saying
Well, no,
nothing.
it was a government thing, so it was 3 pages telling me I don't have a file.
Just basically 3 pages to say you're boring as fuck.
Yeah, and I was really sad, but
I mean, I guess sad or like happy that
I guess
you never got in trouble. I mean, I'm sure you could show it to your employer and
I
be
don't
like,
know. I
Here,
thought one of the conspiracy theories is there's an FBI agent watching you on your phone. I was really upset that I didn't have a letter from my personal FBI
well, what the
agent.
fuck are you talking about? Like near your phone that you have to worry about that shit.
I talk about a lot of stuff. How much I hate my job.
I know. You no longer work for this company.
Yeah, if they actually listen to my computer, I'd be fired.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I say a lot of stuff about people
but
at work.
that was just a fun little story that I wanted to share with you.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, TikTok.
I kind of might try that. But then hopefully I don't forget. Oh my god.
Well,
what do they want more money?
I don't have anything.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, back to my theory. So my theory is one that is a sort of new theory. It's not something that has tons and tons of documentation and research surrounding it, but I did think it was interesting, and it was one of those things that I can definitely build off of if we need to in the future, or if it's requested to go into more detail. But the theory is that Donald Trump and his family all traveled from a distant time with the goal of ruling over the U.S.
I believe it.
So time travel.
I love a good time travel.
Oh my goodness, it's so interesting. Let me tell you. So
let me get my drink. Hold on.
Go for it.
I'm ready.
Drink. Okay. So sit back, relax, pull that blankie up. So let's just for a second, let's forget about all of the bullshit that we went through for like the past 4 years, because this is just like a fun, like interesting little thing to think about. So this theory in itself all revolves around 3 books that were written in the 18th century. And these 3 books are all real books. They all exist. You can go do your like archiving,
Mhm.
look up information. All three of these books do exist, but they were written by Ingersoll Lockwood. So the first book is The Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger.
This is a book from the 18th
This is a book
century.
from the 18th century. Yes. The second book, some of these are so freaky to think about. Like it's really weird comparisons.
Uh-huh.
The second book is, and it's the sequel to the first one, is
Mhm.
Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Adventure. The last book is The Last President. So
I don't like this.
very real.
I don't like
this
this.
is like I said, this is one to think about. This is not one that I personally necessarily believe it's true. Could have
I
happened.
kind of want to find these books and like see if I can read them.
There was, I think it's called archive.com, and you can research. I'll find you the link later, but if you go
Okay,
on
we'll definitely
archive.com, you
have
can
to remember to
definitely
share the
find
link
these.
to
Yes.
these books.
Oh, absolutely. I think I still have it pulled up somewhere. All right. So the storyline follows the story of a young boy named Baron Trump who finds a secret portal in Russia, and through the portal finds out how to time travel. So if you're thinking back to when Donald Trump was in presidency,
Yeah, he loved Russia.
He loved Russia. He was trying his best to make them allies. Well, maybe he knew that there was a secret portal in Russia that he
Mhm.
needed to get to learn how to time travel. I don't know. I'm just saying. So
Maybe the portal's in Ukraine.
it got too real.
Maybe that's why there's a war happening right now.
Oh my God.
Not to date the episode, but
So although the names are spelled differently, I think in the books, Baron is spelled with 2 R's, and in real life, Baron is spelled with 1 R. Could be mixing those up, but the names are spelled differently. The basis of the story is that adventures begin in Russia, and he's guided with directions thanks to, quote, the master of all masters, end quote, a man named Don. Not just Don, but by Lockwood's third novel, The Last President, is when shit starts getting real. I have a quote from the book I'll read. It says, quote, the entire East Side is in a state of uproar. Police officers shouted through the streets, warning folks to stay indoors. Mobs of vast sizes are organizing under the lead anarchists and socialists, and threaten to plunder and despoil the houses of the riches who have wronged and oppressed them for so many years. Now,
is this too real?
do you remember when he first took presidency and people were pissed and everybody started destroying small businesses, looting, stealing. And then I think for a while, the police even had a curfew. Like you had to be in your house at 8 o'clock just to kind of help minimize this. And if you're out of your house after like 8 o'clock or whatever it is, you could get arrested just because they were trying to cut down on all of this bullshit going on. So yes, very, very eerily the same. So then also the beginning of The Last President, there's another quote, and I'm going to quote this from the book as well. Quote, the Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob. The thing is, the man who won presidency was highly wealthy and lived on Fifth Avenue. End quote.
Is that where his hotel is?
He has Trump Tower, which is located on Fifth Avenue, and that is where he lived until he moved to the White House.
Yeah, I do remember that.
How fucking, like, why does somebody writing about this shit in was there a Fifth Avenue in the 1800s?
There wasn't in the United States. There might have been, but
I mean, like, there wasn't that would be one really.
I don't know this for a fact, but I would probably guess that New York wasn't built up like that.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Not to have a distinct Fifth Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, another like really weird. Here's the last one that gets me a little bit. After Lockwood's character becomes president, one of the first people that he chooses for his cabinet was a man named LaFay Pence. Where is it? L-A-F-E. LaFay? I don't know. LaFay Pence. So tell me that name doesn't sound just a little bit familiar.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I mean, right? How weird is this? Oh, it freaks me out.
I definitely want to read these books now.
Yeah, I know. Now I have to like do my own research. I've never read the books. I've heard about this theory like a few times. But like I said, this is like a newer theory since Donald Trump Donald Trump took office. So it's relatively new. There's not too much documentation surrounding it, but like,
wow.
yeah. So now then you're probably all like, how could he have even gotten his hands on a time travel machine, right? Well, here's where I'm going to start going off into like a little
Put my tin hat on.
Yeah, so this is like a little background story for all of this. Now, the answer, people believe, is a man named Nikola Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Nikola Tesla.
I have.
Okay. So he was a mechanical...
He invented the car.
I don't think he was related. I think it was different.
Kidding.
He very well could have. I don't know.
I'm kidding.
I mean, it could be related.
Named after him, but Nikola Tesla is more about like electricity.
Yes. So he was an electrical engineer. He was a mechanical engineer and an inventor. He immigrated to the U.S. and even had the pleasure of working with Thomas Edison. And coincidentally, like he was able to convince J.P. Morgan. Sounds like a familiar name.
Ooh, to sink the Titanic.
He was able to convince J.P. Morgan to finance him more than $150,000. So it's crazy that even at that time, like $150,000 is a lot now. Like imagine back then.
Mm-hmm. It's probably a couple million.
So after Tesla received that money, he quickly hired an architect named Stanford White to draw up blueprints for his vision. Now, this is a quote stated by Tesla. So it says, as soon as completed, it will be possible for a businessman in New York to dictate instructions and have them instantly appear in type at his office in London or elsewhere. He will be able to call up from his desk and talk on to any telephone subscriber on the globe without any change whatever in... A little of this sounds a little funky, but I swear to God, it's a direct quote. In existing equipment.
So he's describing a cell phone?
An inexpensive... He's basically describing something where he can communicate other places. He can transition. At the time, he's just stating items. So he can transition items from X point to Y point.
Gotcha.
So it sounds extremely familiar to a time machine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is another conspiracy surrounding Tesla himself that does have to do with time travel. I'm not going to get into that right now.
Tune in.
It could easily be a future topic. But in 1989, Tesla's plans was to create a worldwide transmission machine called Wycliffe Tower. In 1901, Wycliffe Tower was under construction, and Tesla soon realized that he would not have enough money to finish the project. With no more assistance from J.P. Morgan, he discovered an Italian inventor was also using 17 of his patents that he created. So his project was at a standstill. After all that, he left behind the project, did not touch it again. He kind of fell into like an obsessive compulsive thing. He was very like depressed because of all of it. And then he ended up passing away in 1943 in debt. So, now to bring it back around, how did Donald Trump even locate a time machine? Back to Donald Trump, he had an uncle named John Trump. Now, John Trump was also a electrical engineer. So he was very knowledgeable. He went to MIT. But John Trump, after the death, like weeks after the death of Tesla, was handed all of the blueprints that Tesla had ever created, and he was told to analyze all of these blueprints for every invention he's ever come up with. Now, through the years, Tesla's papers have become declassified. So you can, for the most part, you can go and find these documents online. You can see his blueprints. However, some of these blueprints, between them going over to John Trump and then going back to the government, went missing.
Of course.
So the theory, to finish this off, John Trump held on to the files about the possible time machine. So could these files have been taken and held on to by John Trump? And then if they were, maybe John figured out how to make prints a reality, and Donald Trump has learned to time travel.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
That's wow. Yeah.
Right? It's so fun. Like some of the similarities between the book itself and then the actual events that took place are
Mhm.
just so like
Yeah, it's like scary.
it is. So I said, especially thinking about it while Donald Trump was in office was like really bizarre. And I've never like dug in, done the full research behind the entire story, how
Mhm.
X connects to Y connects to B. But I don't know. I just found this one really interesting.
I've never heard that one before.
No, yeah, I said it's not a lot of people have it because, like I said, it's new. There's not too much like information on it yet, but it's
Yeah, the thing that got me was those books.
they're so eerily similar.
Those books.
So freaky. And like I said, I think the last president may not have been written in the 18th century. It might have been like the very beginning of the 19th century.
Mhm.
So this is like between, I think the first book was written in 1889 and the last book might have been written in like 1901.
Mhm.
And I'm making that up, the last one.
Okay.
But I think like it's a 10-year gap when all of those were written. So I mean, just the fact, even still, they were written over 100 years ago since Donald Trump took office. So it's very weird. And I mean, once again, it's also extremely weird how John Trump, out of anybody in the world, received those blueprints.
Mhm.
And then some of them were missing when they were sent back.
Yeah, that's
so it's just
weird.
It's so weird connections all the way around.
That was a good one.
I know. I found that one fascinating. That's probably one of my favorites. Not that I believe it, but it's fun to think about.
It's very
interesting to think about.
Very
yeah.
interesting because that's wild.
Yeah. So
see, that's why the conspiracy theories are fun.
No, they're just. It's like food for thought. Like it tricks your mind a little bit, gets you out of reality, and like.
Yeah, I would believe that one.
Right? It's so. I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah, time travel's fun.
Let me hear what you have.
Okay. So mine is probably one that you have heard of. It's a more popular one.
Okay.
I figured I would, for episode 2, I would kind of do one that's more well known than my Jean-Benet Ramsey one from last week.
Yes.
But so my sources that I pulled all this together from are from an article from CNN.com, of course, our friends at Wikipedia, and a website called logically.ai.
Makes you think just like logically. Logically as intelligent.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't either, but they had stuff that I stole from. So I brought for you the conspiracy theory of the flat Earth.
Okay, so that is a popular one. I don't think I've like ever like looked into that one completely though.
I honestly haven't either. It's just all the ones you just hear about it.
There's a lot of like flat earthers.
Yeah.
Like
There's a lot of famous people that believe it.
Really?
I'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Please do.
So yeah, I'm gonna go over the flat Earth theory. So the basis of the theory is the flat Earth model is an archaic and scientifically disproven concept of the Earth's shape. Which for the flat Earth theory, people believe that the Earth is not a globe; it is either a plane, like a flat plane, or a disc.
A disc is in like a frisbee type of with kind of curved edges and then flat on top?
Kind of. I'll get to it, but
okay.
there's a common theme that you'll notice about the theory.
The theory.
Yeah. So many ancient cultures subscribe to the flat Earth they keep calling it cosmography. I guess that means the makeup of the planet.
Cosmography?
Cosmography.
I like that word.
Me too. I kept it. Including Greece until the classical period, which was 332 BC, the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, and some civilizations of the East, of like the Near East, were as close up to 31 BC, and China until the 17th century.
Wow.
So this is apparently a very prevalent theory.
It's been around for a while.
It's been around for a while and people believe it to this day. So I'm not surprised that people from China are like, this is real. So opinions on the Earth's shape began to change in the early 4th century BC when Plato wrote about the spherical Earth. And by about 330 BC, his former student Aristotle had provided strong evidence for this as well.
So they were flat earthers, basically.
Well, they proved that they were saying that the
they were
Earth
the
is
ones that
round.
proved
Yeah.
it was round. Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
They used like mathematics and geometry and all this stuff I don't like.
Stuff.
Yeah. And then knowledge of the Earth's global shape then gradually began to spread to the rest of the world.
Okay.
So I like I was saying earlier in my research that this has been around for a while. So I pulled some various flat Earth theories from around the world that I'm gonna read
So
to you.
there's more than one theory surrounding them. Because like
There
flat
is.
Earth, I would just think it's like, oh, the theory is the Earth is flat.
Yeah, but there's various iterations of the theory.
Okay.
And they all have a common thread.
Like that.
Yes. So the first one I'll give you is from Northern Europe. The ancient Norse and Germanic people believed in a flat Earth cosmography, with the Earth surrounded by an ocean with its axis mundi, which I had to look up.
Axis mundi?
Axis mundi, which is a description of a pillar. So it's like a pillar connecting the heaven and the earth.
Okay, so it's kind of like the North and South Pole just connected.
No, it's more literally like a pillar. Like, so in Greek mythology, their axis mundi is the world tree Yggdrasil. If you're ever listened to or looked into Greek mythology, so the Yggdrasil was the thing that was connecting Earth to the heavens.
Oh, okay. So on Earth, going up to the okay,
Yes,
got you.
That's the axis mundi.
Got you.
So they believed Earth was surrounded by oceans with Yggdrasil in the world, and then there was a world encircling ocean. Sat a snake called I'm gonna butcher this Jormungandr.
How do you spell that?
Jormungandr.
Well, your guess is better than I would have ever. So
Yeah. I've heard of it before because
Okay.
I like Norse mythology, and the Norse, the Norse creation account preserved in various texts state that during the creation of the earth, an impassable sea was placed around it. So that's Northern Europe. South Asia, in the Vedic text, I guess there's two. One is Dais, which is heaven, and I'm going to butcher all these names, all these words. Prithvi, which is earth, are compared to wheels on an axis, yielding a flat model.
Okay.
So it's like two wheels stacked on top of each other.
Which makes it turn.
Yeah, and it's like a disc.
Okay. It's kind of like a record player.
Yeah.
But a wheel.
And then they also describe it as bowls. I didn't really get I got the bowls analogy, but they said bowls or leather bags.
Leather bags?
Yeah.
Maybe like the coin pouch?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But Southeast Asia, they described it more as concave model, so more of like a bowl. Like
a dome.
Yeah. Upside down dome.
Oh, upside down.
Upside down dome. The medieval Indian texts called the Puranas describe the earth as a flat-bottomed circular disc with concentric oceans and continents. The general screen is presented not only in Hindu cosmologies, but also in Buddhist and I don't know how to pronounce this, but Jain cosmologies of South Asia.
Okay.
So it's prevalent. And then there's West Asia.
So all of these different continents who do believe in the flat earth theory, they believe it to be a different way than everybody else. So it's kind of a regional thing.
It's regional in the sense of, because this is all like ancient, and so like we didn't exist yet in America.
Okay, so this is way ancient / regional.
And for West Asia, in the Egyptian and Mesopotamia they thought the world was portrayed as a disc floating in the ocean. A similar model is found in various accounts from the 18th century BC, in which Okeanos, which I believe is in Greece, or Okeanos, the personified body of water surrounding the surface of the earth, is this is a direct quote, is the begetter of all life and possibly of all the gods. And then there's also some pyramid texts and coffin texts from Egypt that show similar cosmography.
As in like hieroglyphics?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Nun, which is the ocean, encircling dry lands or islands. The Israelites also imagined the earth to be a disc floating on the water with an arched portion above it that separated the earth from the heavens. It's like a dome this time, the other way.
The opposite.
Yeah, not
Up to down instead of down to up.
a upside down bowl. The sky was a solid dome with the sun, moon, planets, and stars embedded on it.
Okay.
And then this is the common thread that I took note when I was like going through all this research. And I said, an interesting commonality between all of these theories is that they all describe the Earth as a landmass surrounded by a body of water with something else keeping that water contained.
Okay.
And I thought it was so interesting that, like, even though they all have their different takes on it, like in Northern Europe, they think that there's a pillar in the center, which is a tree, and a giant snake in the ocean that's encircling everything. That keeps it all in. South Asia, they thought it was a bowl.
Right,
so
which would
island,
stay in.
Yeah, which would keep the water in. And then in West Asia, they believed it to be a dome.
Okay. So the dome would hold the water in. Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, with the last one that you went over, that's basically like the Earth is flat and then it's just got so it's kind of opposite of what it actually is, because the dome would be the skies, whereas like that's kind of like flat-ish, infinite.
Well, the Earth is flat,
the Earth is round, and then the opposite.
Yeah, that one was a little different because it had like a sky, like
yeah.
Because it said that the sun,
I think if any of them were true, it could be that one. Yeah, if any of them,
the sun, the moon, planet, and stars were embedded on this dome.
Reminds me of those like night lights that project the stars on your ceilings.
I was thinking like a globe, like one of those snow globes you get from Disney World.
It,
yeah, that's like flat with the.
Oh yeah.
So there's some examples of ancient theories of flat Earth from back in the day.
Okay.
That people believed. So we'll move into modern flat earthers, is what I call this section.
Got it. This is the part I'm excited about. I want to know.
This is when it gets like wild. The modern day people are crazy. So we'll get right into it with our modern flat earthers. So a friend of the podcast, Robbie Davidson, he's the founder of the Dallas Flat Earther Conference.
Okay.
He's not a real friend, but
he could be.
That's what I wrote in my notes. So,
he could be.
Friend of the pod. He would like to tell, he has 3 points that he would like people to know about flat earthers.
Okay.
So I wrote them down and I will read them to you now.
Yes, please do.
First and most importantly, no flat earther believes that we're a flying pancake in space. These are all quotes from him, by the way.
Right.
The community merely believes that space does not exist. The world sits still, and the moon landing was fake. The jury is out on gravity, but as Davidson noted, no one has ever seen it. Talking about gravity.
Right.
Secondly, no, you won't fall off the edge. While flat earthers' views of the world vary, most believe that the planet is a circular disk with Antarctica acting as an ice wall barrier around the edge. And I wrote this part. Again, if we go back to the older theories, the core of all these theories seem to be a circular disk surrounded by water with something holding the water in.
Here's the thing, though, like, and not to like debunk right away, but regardless of which way you turn the Earth, you're gonna go through the equator somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So how could the entire outside have ice keeping it in? That's
a great question.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with they think the center is different than like what we think the center, because we know the world to be a globe. Right.
So they picture it differently.
Yes.
But I'm trying to picture, there's no way that you can fully go around the world where it's completely cold.
Well, exactly. And if it was flat, it would all melt.
Yeah.
Because it would all be hit by the sun. Well, that's why a lot of these people don't believe in science, which is a point I'll get to later.
It sounds like for this one too, not a lot of them would believe in like the heavens, just because I guess the way they're describing it, I don't know. It just sounds like they more so believe that the Earth is flat. It's just like a flat like area in space, but there's nothing else there.
Well, they don't believe in space.
So they don't believe in the galaxies, anything like that. Okay.
They don't believe in astronauts. I think it's all fake.
So then they're another one in the moon landing was a hoax conspiracy situation.
Yes, they were.
Gotcha.
And his third point that he would like everyone to know is that modern I had modern earthers have little in common with the Flat Earth Society, it's a group that's existed for decades, and I was like, I googled it and I was like,
So
I don't
why
understand.
would they have little in common with them? Because I feel like the Flat Earth Society would strictly be like people who believe in the flat Earth theory.
They do, because I looked them up, and it's just like, I feel like the difference is, from what I looked into, was the flat earthers are just like, yeah, I don't believe this, but the Flat Earth Society is like, we don't believe this, but we're trying to like prove it. They're like more scientific.
So they want the reasoning to show other people.
Yeah. These people are just like, nah.
I'm good.
I'm good. That's space not real. Okay. So that was from our friend Robbie Davidson. Still most people demonstrate many of these people demonstrate plenty of anti-scientific tendencies, like what I was just saying. It's hard to find a flat earther who doesn't believe most other conspiracy theories. A flat earther conference is invariably also a gathering of anti-vaxxers, people who believe that 9/11 was a scam or whatever. and
like
they subscribe to the Illuminati.
It sounds like a bunch of conspiracy. God, what's the fucking word I'm trying to say? Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Like followers and believers.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like they believe anything.
It just sounds like a conspiracy convention.
Yeah, which I would like to go to.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't necessarily subscribe.
I could pretend to be a flat earther for the day.
Might be interesting. See what happens.
Yeah, it's people that subscribe to the flat Earth theory, that they're described as hyper-skeptic. They have a hyper-skeptical mindset that they use to help flat earthers answer the big question, like, who is hiding the true shape of the planet from us? Like, they think
that's so weird that like that's how they see it.
They sound paranoid.
Who's hiding this information from us instead of like, what is the actual information?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think that's what the main difference is between flat earthers and
Flat Earth Society.
Modern flat Earth theory takes various forms, and there is often some degree of debate between different factions of flat earthers. One of the most popular flat Earth hypotheses describes the Earth as a disk surrounded by a wall of ice, with the North Pole in its very center. The wall of ice is actually Antarctica, and the theory goes that NASA and the UN patrol it to keep people from getting too close. So it kind of answers your original question.
Or they have like a border-ish surrounding the edge as like the border patrol.
If I was reading this theory, I'm picturing Game of Thrones, and it's the people on the ice wall. They're just like walking back and forth saying, don't come over here.
But then wouldn't those people know the truth?
Well, that's why they think they're like, who's keeping the truth from us?
Okay.
It's the penguins.
The polar bears.
It's the polar bears. Others argue that rather than a disk, the Earth is instead an infinite plane bisecting space, expanding in all directions.
So it's just the flat Earth.
It goes on forever.
Above you is the sky. So there's no, I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't make sense either, because eventually you're going to hit the same state again or the same country again.
Well, in this one, with this theory, they would say you wouldn't, because the landmass goes on forever. Like, you could just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking.
But like I'm saying, like even on this planet,
you
can physically go in a like straight line, and you're going to go over top of the same country again. This is why it doesn't
make sense to us, because we know that the world is round.
I'm just trying to figure out what their mindset is if they think that that's a possibility.
I don't know. Some other theories don't even have the Earth as flat at all. Instead, they argue that the Earth is hollow, with giant holes located at each pole, serving as entrances to a hypothesized subterranean world within.
Fucking Donald Trump.
That's where his
portal to Russia.
That's where his portal to Russia is.
Or portal to time travel.
And then I just put this little fun fact in, for science. The actual shape is almost a perfect sphere, but not quite. The Earth is slightly wider around the equator than around the poles.
I didn't realize that.
So that is a little synopsis of the flat Earth theory from the beginning to modern day.
Modern day thought.
Yeah. And I'll leave you with some famous flat earthers. Rapper B.O.B., he claimed that the earth was flat.
Didn't he create that song like Airplane or
Yep.
something? Yeah, okay.
His reasoning is that no matter how high in elevation you are, the horizon is always eye level.
I mean, that's not wrong.
There's a lot of people. I only picked like the most prevalent name, but there's a lot of people in sports that believe that the earth is
Really?
flat.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked at a list, and there was like
Football player, baseball player.
it was a
basketball
lot of
player.
football players,
Okay.
a lot of a cricket player from England, and it was a lot of sports people. A lot of people from the NBA. And it even said, I even wrote there's a long tradition of NBA players who apparently believe in being flat. One of them being Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, really?
He said on his podcast that the earth is flat, and his reasoning was that he's driven from Florida to California and said the whole ride was clearly flat to him.
I mean, I get where he's coming from, and then he's, like I said, he's not wrong, but at the same time, like, I think that the thing is, the Earth is supposed to be so large, you don't realize you're actually going.
Well, there was a picture in this article that I can't include, audio, but we can post it later. It was a good example of the scale of the horizon.
Okay.
And it was using a wind turbine farm in the ocean. To you, looking straight at them, they were at different elevations because of the curvature of the earth.
Okay. Well, here's another thing, not to like cut you off, but like proving fact is going off of B.O.B., like you said, you
Mhm.
look at the horizon and it is flat no matter where you are. However, the sky at that point touches the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to that point, but the sky's not touching the ground. You're just going to look and see a flat horizon where the sky's touching the ground again. So I
Mhm.
feel like that right there is disproving the horizon.
And I think
Theory.
it's hard for us on the ground to see it just because we're so small.
Yes, agreed. Yes.
We're so small. If you look over there, you see a house, like it looks flat, but you need the perspective of other things.
There's no possible way it could be, well, in my opinion, there's no possible way it could be flat because, like I said, every time you look, the sky is touching the ground.
Mhm.
But you go to that point, the sky's not touching the ground. You just see more sky touching more ground. So that means it has to be a slight curve.
Yeah, and what's his face? And Shaquille O'Neal, he went from Florida to California. He didn't, because he was on the ground. He was driving in a car.
Yeah. So he's always going to see it as flat
Yeah.
because his car's not flying away.
Mhm.
So
Exactly. He wasn't in the sky. He was on the ground. So that is the theory, the conspiracy theory involving the flat earth.
did you have any more people listed for people who actually believe in it?
Attila Tequila, or what her name was.
Wait a minute. She was on that like Flavor of
Yeah.
Love or something.
Yeah,
Get out.
She had a couple of her own. But the thing
She has a podcast too, right?
Probably. But there was under her thing, it was like she apparently jumps on any type of bandwagon to stay relevant.
I mean, she seems like that
so
type of,
it sounded to me it was questionable, but everyone else was like
they
sports.
had their reasoning as to why they believed it. That's an interesting one.
There was a comic, I didn't write her name down, but I forget. She's like that comic that's in like every show, but
Amy Schumer?
don't remember her name.
Amy
Her name's like
Poehler?
Sherry something.
Oh, I know the name right there, Sherry. That did it for me.
She's on The View.
Sherry, something with an S.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I didn't write it down.
She used to be on that show. Everybody Loves Raymond too.
Did she?
Sherry Shepherd.
That's her.
That's Sherry. Yeah.
She's a flat earther.
Okay. I love Sherry Shepherd. I think
she's hysterical.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, I think she's funny in everything she's in.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. I like that though.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really dug into the full
I haven't either.
flat earth conspiracy before.
I haven't either, and that's the one thing I really have enjoyed at this point of the podcast journey.
Knowing about all of these.
Yeah, it's like all things that I've heard. Like I've never heard of your one you did today,
yeah.
but like I've heard of the Titanic one you did last time, and I've heard of this one, but I never looked into
Well,
it.
that's my thing. Like, I want to, not that I want everybody to believe the conspiracies that I bring up, but I want to introduce people to new conspiracies and just like those crazy thoughts and like, oh, wow, that's could be a possibility. I doubt it's a possibility, but I want to think about that as a possibility.
Mhm.
It's kind of fun, like party stories too. Like,
It is. It's just like a fun topic to get the mind going.
yeah. This was like a good one. I really enjoyed this one.
Me too. I think we had some good stories today.
Do you know what you're going to do for your next episode already?
That's what I was looking, trying to go to my folder in my tablet. I think so. I might go back into the pop culture realm for my next one.
I have my
Or I have
three-
another one that's like way out there that I might
have
do.
my first three lined up. I will say, just as a hint, I don't necessarily believe that this is a conspiracy, but more so like an unknown type of story. So I
Mhm.
think we're just going to be covering conspiracies, unknown, and cult stories just in
Yeah.
general. Not necessarily all having to do with conspiracy, but like mine is, I think, going to be the first one to sort of branch out onto a new leaf, not just focusing on conspiracies.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
it's kind of, to me, it's like a hometown situation too. So
Oh, cool.
it makes it even more interesting. But that's all you're getting from me for this one. So
Okay.
you're gonna have to
Yeah,
wait
I
till
would
next
love to do
episode.
like a haunting or something, like a story, like a crazy, like I know some from New Jersey that are like, there's one in North Jersey that's like a really interesting like
Haunted
haunted
thing?
house that is like
See,
famous.
I would love to be the type of like podcast who could eventually go to some of those places, but I am
Well,
the
I'm not
biggest.
gonna go there.
I am the biggest fucking chicken. Like I could not handle going to an actual
I'll stay in
haunted
the
location,
basement. I'll call you.
take photos. I'm like, I'm not about that.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll research it and then I'll tell it, but I'm not gonna go
Yes.
there.
I mean, it might take like a certain amount of followers, and I'd go, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't necessarily enjoy it. When I say certain amount of followers, I'm like, I'm up in that number, people. Like, if you want that to happen, we could do like the live, like
It's just gonna be
play
me
by
shivering
play.
in the corner.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god.
We would definitely have to bring a group with us for that, though.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I just thought of another one I'm gonna do.
I've been doing
I'm
that. I
putting
keep
it-
a list like in my phone, and I'm just checking them off as I go. But I literally bought like 4 books last week revolving around conspiracies and everything.
Yeah.
And I've just been like shuffling through. I was like, oh, I do like that one. I'll add that one to my list. So
I keep making new like Google Docs in my folder, right? And I'll just make a new one, title it what it is, and I'll go in later and like fill it in with my stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been
Instead
doing
of
it.
I'm using this as like my checklist.
Yeah, I do Google Docs too. I've been like typing up all of my stories in there.
I'm just gonna let me just add another one.
Yes, do it. All right.
That was a good episode.
It's a good episode. It was fun.
It was.
I liked it. I like learning new stuff
Me too.
about conspiracies anyway.
I love a good time travel one too.
It was so interesting. And like I said, Tesla himself has like a whole conspiracy surrounding him as well. So like I could honestly continue that if anybody wants to dig into more of the time travel situation. So, but that's for another week. Like I said,
Yeah.
I already have next week's picked, and I'm very excited about doing that one too. So, all right. Well, I don't know. Got anything else to talk about?
No.
I think we good, right?
I think we're good. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks you all
Well,
for joining us today for our
and-
happy hour.
Yes, and catch us next time. Yeah, I know. It's very like basic. We're just like, come
Bye.
back, listen to us again.
Yeah, we'll be here for our next happy hour.
All right.
Maybe that can be it. Join us for our next happy hour.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Tomorrow
Work in
at
progress.
5. No,
Work in-
just kidding. It's not tomorrow.
Work in progress.
I don't know. I gotta go upstairs and make dinner. You wanna go help?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Conspiracy Happy Hour. Be sure to listen, follow, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a spooky story, conspiracy, or weird encounter that you would like to hear read in a future episode? Email your story to conspiracyhappyhour@gmail.com and follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at Conspiracy Happy Hour. This podcast is produced and edited by Geckos Media and is part of the Geckos Media Network. Interested in starting your own podcast and not quite sure where to begin? Visit Geckos Media and sign up for a free one-on-one consultation today. Until next time, bye!